this way. You want to walk those steps, David? Putting in the stonework here was kind of fun. Some of the things that might be interesting for you about this shop is all of this material, most of this material is all recycled. All of the roof trusses and the roof members are made out of recycled teak that came from a rancho that I built on the beach a long time ago. And the municipality made me take it down because it was too close to the ocean. So the roof the trusses are made out of teak. It's got cana brava on top, black plastic on top of that, tin on top of that, and rolled barrel tiles from Nicaragua. The floor is sinesero. The walls are board and battened Molina with 4 coats of marine varnish. And the doors are made out of teak and lots of varnish. If you come in, you'll see it's kind of small, but it's a pretty interesting place to work. Looks like you're looking at screwdrivers and chisels. This is my little lathe operation over here. It was one of those things that I had to have, so I purchased it and built this table for it that's attached to the building. I knew I needed to have it, but I've used it about 3 times since I purchased it. But I'll use it. It's not going to go to waste. Let's see what else. Built a box for all my router stuff, tip bits and blades, and some of the smaller jigs are inside this box. So I try to make everything I can by myself and purchase as little as possible. The big stuff I have to buy. Because it's small, I try to do things in a compact way. So I use chute boards for things like, for engineering, for metalwork and stuff like this, big stuff. When I built the shop as an add-on, I decided that I needed a bathroom so that I could really make this my man cave. Because I come down here in the morning, and I come down here between 5:30 and 6 o'clock every morning. And I do all of my personal things here, including starting off with making coffee. And then the next thing that I do early in the morning is I use this part of the shop, which is the bathroom. And it's, as you can see, it's open air bathroom. It's got a cement sink, interesting plumbing, and it's a great place to be because you can look out way out over the valleys, and on clear days you can see just some really beautiful sights. This is a great place to look at birds. I spend a lot of time with my elbows on these counters right here, just looking at stuff that's going on around here. And also there's a shower. So this is a great place to come and take your shower in the afternoon if you get real dusty. Because of the fact that we're up off the ground, I was able to put my air compressor down below. So I've got a sort of a basement, open air basement down there, and I use it for lumber storage. The air compressor's down there, and stuff that I don't use very often is out there. The air compressor's wired up here, so all I have to do is, turn it on. So everything works up from here. So I only have to go down there to bleed the tank, which is, not all that often. Back to the roof. The teak trusses that we built on site are recycled from a rancho up in northwestern Costa Rica. So these are the trusses that we made here on site. And again, on top of it is cana brava, which sort of looks like bamboo. There's black plastic on there on top of that. There's tin on top of that, and barrel tiles from Nicaragua on top of that. This bench was the first project, again all out of scraps, and I'm really proud of it. I designed it, not like Mr. Schwartz, but it's a really good workbench for me, the perfect size. You can't move it, you can't lift it, and it's really level, it's really pretty square, and as you can see, I even inlaid a couple of T-tracks in it so that I can put some little clamps with this T-trap, so that if you're doing work down here, you can actually clamp it right down to the workbench. And these were simple to make on the bandsaw, just cut out sinicero, drill a hole in it so that the screw could move a little bit and give you this kind of an action. And pretty soon you've just made a $6 product. So I made about 15 of them all at the same time, and all of them with the same kind of configuration. Saved a fortune. And oh, by the way, I use these a lot, either on here or any of the other places that I use T-Track. You're putting things together that are square cabinets. I think one of our big suppliers sells these kind of devices that are made out of black plastic for quite a bit of money. But these work really well. All you have to do is clamp it to your material in 2 different locations, and you've just made a product that's, you know, worth several dollars if you had to buy it. I'm not about buying stuff. So I made a bunch of these all at the same time, and they work really well. 2 of these on a project clamped together will allow you to get it exactly the way you want it, clamp it up, and then you can secure it together with one person, and it really works well. This is also something that's kind of fun. I just started seeing these in catalogs where you could, you know, raise up your pipe clamps up off the table, and there's various. They even sell these things with table legs on them. I've been using these for a really long time. It works really well. It takes stuff off the table and it expands the face, and they're very simple to make. I made a whole bunch of these all at once. I made big ones. I made a bunch of small ones. So, you know, another jig that works really well. I ran out of space in here, decided I needed more room, so I took the window out here, cut a hole through the wall, and built an annex out here that more than doubles my space. So before I used to have the table saw out on the front porch, which worked for me, but it works now. It works a lot better having it in here. An old, 30 or 40-year-old craftsman saw that I inherited from an old friend who's since passed away. What else can I tell? Oh, here's something I'm really excited about. This is my dust collection system. This is all made out of recycled material, literally recycled material, except for the air mover itself. 55-gallon drum was recycled. I had to buy this cheap dryer hose. I built a box here so that I can, it's basically a one-place blast gate that opens up the appropriate hose for the machine. But what happens is, this is a, what do you call it, cyclone. And I found the dimensions on the internet, and I brought it down to my local sheet metal guy, and he made this for me for 25 bucks. And then I attached it to the top and sealed it all up with Duraton, which is kind of a roofing cement, and rivets and all kinds of stuff to keep it, as tight as I could. I put a little window in here so that I could see when it was time to open when it was time to clean it. But basically what happens is, I try to keep it as dust free as I can in here, so when I'm using the chop saw, I open up the blast gate that's specific to the chop saw, it goes through the big manifold into the cyclone, around the cyclone and into the barrel, and then the exhaust air exits right down through the floor, because we're still about 10 feet off the ground down at this end of the building, and it just exits as clean air. So because I'm up in the air, I was able to put a line underneath the floor, and I enclosed the table saw so that it's dust free. I made all these baffles for the equipment so that the hose can directly attach. So if I'm using the router table, I roll the router table over a little closer and hook it up, and it's all dust free. If I'm using the sander, I hook it up and it's dust free. If I'm using the bandsaw, I hook it up through another line that's in the floor, and it's also dust free. I know this isn't the best way to do it, but I totally enclosed the saw with 1/8-inch plywood. And it's kind of a pain. If I need to change the angle on the saw blade, I have to take out 4 screws, but it's not a big deal. 90-degree stuff is basically what I'm doing almost all the time anyway. This is my very fancy outfeed table. It works really well. I'll probably build a more official outfeed table someday. Again, I really like making stuff out of just scrap stuff from projects. So that bench was all made out of scrap stuff. As you can see, I had a teak pole that I used for one of the legs that I mortised up into it, and that worked really well. I like to make things that roll around and make things, handy to use. This was an old table for a cheap piece of machinery that somebody gave me, and I brought it, I made it up so that it was high enough, including the 2.5 inches of the table of the planer, so that everything in here is exactly 37 inches. So that I can run material from the planer onto this or onto that, or into any of the other tables in here. You probably know what this is. If you don't know what this jig is for, call me and I'll tell you. This is a real time saver. That's a really, really cool thing. This is something that I use on the planer all the time. I don't have a joiner, so I put this on the planer and literally clamp it down to this table like this, and I can take material and run it in this direction through the planer, so I can get the the top of the material through there. What that means is I can run planer material this way, or with this I can run it through this way, and this is really a great way a great money saver for me, a great time saver as well. I also have jigs for different size box joints. This is a 1/2 inch box joint, this is a 1/4 inch box joint, and they just get screwed to the feet of the table saw. I needed to do tapered legs one day, so I built this out of some scrap stuff that I had laying around because I didn't have one, so I just built it out of scrap stuff I had laying around, and it works really well up against the fence. It allows you to cut, almost any kind of taper you want to cut. All you have to do is put it on there, rest it against here, put it on, rest it down, tighten it up, and that becomes your new taper. I know they sell these, they must sell these, but it was super easy to make. I just had a piece of metal and I cut it out on the bandsaw, cut this out. So these are the kinds of things I enjoy making. I enjoy making these kind of things more than I enjoy making real projects. What else? I also enjoy making my own feather boards. So I've got all kinds of different feather boards I work on with G-Track for the router table, for the table saw. Anywhere I need a feather board, I've got them all made up. Longer feather boards for the table saw. Saw blades, it's all like self-explanatory. Zero tolerance. These are easy to make. You can buy them, but they're super easy to make out of plywood. You just drop it in, screw it down, and you got your zero tolerance for for wobble blades or for whatever you want. We're in Costa Rica. There's no need for air conditioning or heating. If you want to get a hold of me, you can do that at thedongary@gmail.com, and we can talk more about it. Nice to see you again.